Brigade Major 205 Brigade on the performance of various units in the 205 Brigade. Performance of 4FF up to 30th November 1971. Major Anis Ahmed summed up in his after mission debriefing after repatriation from Indian PW camp in 1974 as below. 4FF fought gallantly and well, although Lieutenant Colonel Abbasi was wounded very early in the battle. For a time, due to excessive interference by the brigade commander, things looked difficult and morale of the officers dropped. However, with the arrival of Lieutenant Colonel Mumtaz and the firm stand he adopted regarding his ability to exercise command, the battalion soon found its feet again. The good work done by Lieutenant Colonel Mumtaz, Major Akram Nishane Haider, and Major Peters deserves special mention. This is the opinion of the Brigade Major of the 205 Brigade. Regarding the role of 205 Brigade Headquarters, Major Anis stated in his after repatriation debriefing to the General Headquarters of Pakistan Army regarding the role of the 205 Brigade Headquarters. According to the Brigade Ops Plan, the Brigade Headquarters was at Khetlal. This location was selected after considerable thought as to tactical and communication requirements. In view of the huge area and dispersal of the units, this location provided the best communication with each battalion. Lines had been laid to each battalion and radio relay and line communication established with Headquarters 16th Division, then located at Bogra. When hostilities started at Hilli, the Brigade Headquarters was moved to Balahar. It stayed there till 10th 11th December. However, it stopped functioning as the normal Brigade Headquarters should. There was no staff work like situation reports, intelligence reports, any report or return. All the staff officers were being used for odd jobs like commanding troops, locating and sighting defensive positions, laying minefields, leading company attacks, being ordered to change into CVs and infiltrate behind enemy lines to reach own troops, etc., etc. Fortunately for us, that the Indians hammered away at Hilli all the time. Had they decided on attacking at other places within our area simultaneously, the brigade headquarters would not have been able to exercise proper command and control over the remaining troops, and battalions would have been fighting on their own. This is the assessment of the brigade major of the 205 Brigade. Then he was very bitter about the instructions being received from the general headquarters regarding making false claims. He thus stated in the para number 10 of his debriefing, quote, I received the news of the attack in West Pakistan at Charakai and was also told to inform all ranks that Jammu had been captured and that we were on the outskirts of Amritsar. Although at that time the news sounded incredible, many believed it. Whoever thought this up deserves nothing but the contempt of all of us who later discovered that it was false propaganda designed to boost our morale. So he was very critical about these cheap, antics, and he mentioned this in his after mission report given to the GHQ on repatriation from the Indian PW camp. Now, regarding the performance of the units, Major Anis summed up the performance as following, which I will just narrate. As a whole, the units of 205 Brigade fought excellently in the Hilli sector, and the entire battalions, all the units deserve praise. Regarding 4FF, Major Anis stated, this unit fought excellently in the Hilli sector and the entire battalion deserves special praise. However, when it finally received orders to abandon Hilli, it could not effect an orderly or planned exfiltration. This was due to the extremely short notice. The result was that it got split into various small groups, all of whom could not be subsequently gathered to fight at Bogra. This is how Major Anis Ahmed summed up 4FF in his debriefing report to the General Headquarters after repatriation from the Indian PW camp. Regarding 8 Baluch, Major Anis stated, although except during the final days at Bogra, 8 Baluch never fought as a battalion. Its companies were detached and employed on independent missions. Notable among these are the actions at Charkai and Baduria. The subunits acquitted themselves well. On the whole, the battalion fought well and maintained its cohesion till the very end. This is how Brigade Major 205 Brigade, Major Anis Ahmed, summed up the performance of the 8 Baluch. Regarding 13FF, Major Anis stated in his report, in the most part, 13FF remained curiously uncommitted during the entire war. Although one company fought the action alongside company of 8 Baluch, the latter company took the brunt of the attacks. Regarding 32 Baluch, Major Anis stated, probably due to the very early death of its CO, Lieutenant Colonel Sultan, this unit could never really find its feet. On 2 occasions, they were ordered to move out of prepared positions and engage the enemy ahead of them on Bogra Rangpur Road. This seems to have had a demoralizing effect on them. Ultimately, the entire unit, except the officers and a few men, moved out of Bogra to Ulapara without orders. Regarding 80 Field Regiment, Major Anis stated, 80 Field Regiment performed extremely well during the war, in spite of the fact that it was a newly raised unit. Never was the brigade lacking artillery support, and they continued giving it till the very end. Through ingenious location of guns, we were able to take on targets deep inside the Balur Ghat salient effectively. Many times after the surrender, the Indians inquired where we had disposed of our medium guns. Regarding the field company engineers, Major Anis stated, the engineers had to face a difficult task of keeping the tracks open and laying hundreds of mines at very short notice. They carried out both these tasks efficiently. Bridges and important installations had been prepared for demolition as part of the denial plan by the engineers. The field company, commanded by Major Badr Mahiuddin Shaheed, performed well. This is the report of the Brigade Major of 205 Brigade. Regarding the East Pakistan Civil Armed Forces, he stated the elements of East Pakistan Civil Armed Forces in our area did not perform as would be desirable due to the following reasons. Number 1, improper recruitment. They were either too young or too old. Number two, inadequate training. Most of them had no training and they had been hastily made to fire 5 rounds with the rifle. Number three, there was inadequate command and control elements within the East Pakistan civil armed forces, and the platoons were attached to the regular battalions. This is the debriefing by the brigade major of the 205 Brigade. As you can see, the report is very long, but I am trying to concentrate on the major points. As you can see, more later. Now, regarding the denial plan, he has got very severe reservations about the role of brigade headquarters, which we will subsequently explain. Lastly, he very bitterly recollected in personal recollection to describe when I interviewed him. He stated that I never handed over the charge of brigade major to the in-posted brigade major Mazhar, but sadly after the repatriation from the Indian PW camp, Brigadier Tajammul initiated a casualty report backdated stating that I had handed over the charge of brigade major to Major Mazhar when he was posted, which was very snide and unfair on his part, and I cannot forgive him for that.